Hello students, welcome to our this online class. In this class, we are going to take unit 5th of our paper 8C. This unit is about the analysis of discourse analysis and the analysis of literary discourse. In our this class, we are going to take how to analyze a literary discourse. First of all, what a discourse is. A discourse is a long and serious discussion of a subject either in spoken form or in written form. In linguistics, discourse is a unit of language that is larger than a sentence or a clause. So, up to sentence, the grammar works, and after sentence, when it is more than one sentence, the discourse analysis starts its work. We can say that discourse is the use of language in speech or writing in order to produce meaning, contextual meaning. So, it is a type or a style of language according to the context of the text. There are various types of discourses we come across in our life. For example, political discourse, religious discourse, literary discourse, and so on. It is also any simple use of language for any purpose, we can say. So, when we use language to express ourselves for any purpose, purposeful use of language, whether in speech or in writing, it becomes a discourse. Discourse is the language in actual use. So, here we find how a language is actually used in practical life. As we have mentioned that there are various types of discourse. Here in our this class we are going to see how we can analyze a given literary discourse. Definition of a literary discourse. In literature, particular choice of language is made to suit the purpose of action. Every writer has his own style depending upon his experience and his purpose and the mode of expression he has chosen. Thus, analysis of a literary discourse is not easy. However, a flexible method is applied which may give some understanding of the style. So, if we try to follow certain steps, if we are asked to analyze a literary discourse, we can do it easy. Otherwise, to analyze a literary discourse is not like analyzing a simple common discourse of everyday life. To analyze literary discourse, what steps we should follow? These are, first of all, read the passage carefully, twice or for many more times to understand, to grasp the message. Then, listing the features of style under some headings. We are going to discuss certain headings under which we are to analyze the given text. If we follow these headings, then we will be able to give a good appreciation of a literary text. Then the next step, after reading the passage carefully, then pointing out the features of style. Next step, to synthesize the features with the meaning and effect of the passage. How these features, these qualities, these specialties contribute to the special meaning, intended meaning of the writer. Or, in other words, how the writer, the poet, or the essayist has used these features to carry out his meaning, to make his meaning clear. The major headings under which we are to do this exercise are of four types. First of all, lexis, then grammar, then figures of speech, and then cohesion and context. If you remember how we used to do the critical appreciation of poems the critical appreciation of a given text, these are the similar points, but we are now using the technical words as lexis and grammars and context and cohesion. Otherwise, it is as simple as analyzing a giving a critical appreciation of a poem. But we are to use these technical words to get our real meaning. The first point is lexis. So we have read the text twice or thrice, and now we are making an effort to analyze it. How we will do? First of all, we will concentrate upon the point lexis. What are we to do under this heading? Under this heading, we focus on vocabulary, the diction of the given text, whether the language is formal or informal, whether the words and sentences are complex or simple, the words used, what is their nature, polysyllabic, monosyllabic, technical, archaic words, or words from a particular dialect. If we can identify these things, it is all right. If we cannot identify all these things, then at least we should be able to identify whether the language used is formal or informal. Remember, tenor. Whether the structure of construction of sentences is complex or simple. Question answer method, example and explanation, statement and example, what pattern is used by the writer, words long or short, technically monosyllabic or polysyllabic, whether archaic words, words from foreign languages are used, whether the words belong to a particular technical field, that is the domain. Then collocation is also noticed. How the words are joined together, whether they are used in the normal order or the order is changed to suit the purpose, to make the meaning clear. This type of changing of place is generally noticed when we are dealing with poems. So under this heading, we may also point about the kind of nouns, abstract nouns or concrete nouns. Which type of nouns are generally used? If the concrete nouns are used, then the text is likely to be a descriptive one. If abstract nouns are used, then the topic of the discussion may be something abstract, the idea or some philosophical topic, or it may be like an essay on something. Then we should focus on the verbs also. If the verbs describe something, it may be a descriptive passage. If the verbs are used, if the verbs used are of the kind of narration, then it will be a narrative passage. We can also look out for the adjectives and adverbs. What type of adjective? Adjectives of quality, adjectives of quantity, adjectives of size, of color, of concrete qualities, of abstract qualities. What type of adjectives are used there? So in a sense, we are to analyze the words, the diction used in the given discourse, because we know that language has its own particular form depending upon the domain and tenor. Domain and tenor change the way a language is used. With this analysis, we can get idea about the subject, about the tone and the attitude in the discourse. What may be the topic, what may the given passage be about, what is the subject of the passage, and how the writer has presented it, expressed himself, what is the attitude of the writer. We are to reach to these conclusions after doing this analysis. That is our first analysis. We are to get information from the text, from the diction used in the text by the writer. Then our next point. Our next point is, we can give it a heading, grammar. You may give your answer using these headings, or you may just write your answer like an essay without giving these headings. Under this heading, we look at the construction of sentences, the nature of sentences, the form of sentences, and the clauses are studied. The form of sentences and the clauses are studied. With this analysis, we can understand whether the given piece is descriptive or narrative, informative or formal or informal. Not only the words used, but how the words are constructed in a sentence. How the sentence is constructed using those words also give us information about the tenor and domain of the piece. So looking at these sentences, we may pinpoint what type, which tense is mostly used in the given text, whether it is describing something that has already happened, whether it is a discussion about something in present tense, or whether it is some anticipation or some imagination using the future form of tense to hint about something that is going to take place in future. Then the construction of sentences will also tell us whether it is related to a technical field or it is just about something imaginative, whether it may belong to a science fiction, it may belong to a novel, it may be a poem, it may be a story. Looking at the construction of the sentences, we can reach to that point. Students, in our next slide, in our next class, we will discuss about the remaining points with the help of which we can do the analysis of a literary text. Till now, thank you students. Goodbye.